Welcome, everybody, to your weekly vibe check. This is your weekly FraxCheck, and I'm your host, Capital K, and I'm joined by my co host, DeFi Dave, and our producer extraordinaire, Sam. And we're going to go straight to the source of truth via checking the chain. But before we jump in, please smash that subscribe button, hit that like button, and jump into our Telegram and Twitter at Flywheel DeFi. And please go to our Substack at flywheeloutput.com for that
It's
extra dose.
FlywheelDeFi.com. We changed the URL.
flywheeldefi.com
Finally. Yeah,
for that
FlywheelDeFi.com.
extra flywheeldefi.com for that extra alpha. Boys, these past few weeks, we've been ranging back and forth, low and high. I feel like this is the calm before the storm. So this week I call it the calm before the storm. Now let's dive on in. We start. Oh, Sam, do you
It's
mind?
coming. Don't worry.
Yeah, we start with our flagship product as always. That is the Frax Supply, and we are literally hanging by a thread onto our 3 comma. We might get kicked out of the 3 comma club. We've been here for the last, I want to say, 4 weeks. It's kind of a lot of pent up energy in here that I imagine us to explode upward, hopefully. So not much change here, but keep an eye out. Next slide. Take a look at the peg. This is a tight ass peg. We are literally between 0.999 and 1.000. It's a tight ass peg this week. So we took it to the markets and see what we're gonna do on the curve swap. We took 100 million of Frax, swapped it for USDC, received an exchange rate of 0.9983. Okay, not bad. Again, above the 0.997 number that I don't like to see. So we're still hanging on. We're good there. Moving on, we have our collateralization percent. Here we're flat for the week. We are still at our all-time high at 94.8%. And we've been here for, I believe, two to three Frax checks now. And I think it takes some time for us to build up a treasure chest to then go out there and increase the collateralization percent again. Now, on the other side, we have our decentralization percent, and this number has been trickling down, 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 down. We are down 1% this week to 20.6%. Normally, during the peak previous in last year, the number we want to see is around the 30s. So hopefully with more FrxETH and more of these decentralized collateral, we can see this number go up higher and higher. All right. So moving on, we have Frax's second product, which is the liquidity as a service. Here we saw the Frax based pool drop down by 1.5% down to 501 million. Now, on the volume and utilization, we see an actual pretty healthy volume of 20 million so far, and it's only been 2 weeks into May. And that represents a 4% utilization rate so far. Obviously, when compared to March during the circle fiasco, it was definitely much, much, much higher. But this, for a healthy 8% utilization rate per month, I think is okay. Now, moving on to our favorite metric of the show, which is the percent of three pool. Here it is 129%, which represents a all-time high. And guys, I got this feeling that I want to stop almost reporting this because it feels like, that meme when it's like the Simpson and Ralph is like, it's dead already. Stop.
Yeah.
so, I feel like we definitely crushed it. Just for the folks
Milestone
that
reached. Knock
yeah,
on
just
wood.
for the yeah, exactly. Just for the folks that are listening, we've been pretty much above the three pool for I would say almost 3 months now. So 12 weeks worth of frax check. We've just been above 100% of the three pool. And now we're at 129%. So I definitely am confident to say we are in a different regime of the um curve
Protocol.
frax. Yeah, curve protocol frax integration, the flywheel rather. The most eloquent way to say that is we're in a different era of the flywheel where
What's going to
Frax is
happen?
so integrated.
Yeah, and that's only going to go down because DAI is soon going to be a new stablecoin because of Endgame.
Well, I think it's the OFAC issues. How is the Wintermute hacker, who AKA is North Korea, has been pulling it down, right? And
Yeah.
if we pull up a chart, I'm going to show you a quick chart, and then we can go back to the FraxCheck. On Dune, it's been quite a ride, right? Three pool peaked at $6 billion back in, what was that, just before right before FTX collapsed, and it's just been downhill ever since then. And since the beginning of the year, it's just been a grinding lower. So people are just taking money out of this pool. I think it's just becoming less relevant, and also the Wintermute hacker as well too had influence on that. So interesting to see how this plays out. Maybe goes back to like 2020 levels when it was created.
A round trip.
Round trip.
The round trip, the 3 pool round trip. Yes, and then now the Frax base pool came in and kind of swooped in. But when Sam comes back with the slides, you'll see that on the next page we have a new contender. Is the graph loading for you guys? It's not really
No.
loading for me.
It's doing strange things.
Okay, it's there. It's there. Okay. Okay, let me extend it a little bit.
I understand. I see the issue. But I think it's the thing. I'm going to try to adjust the.
Okay.
Oh, okay. No, it's yours.
Okay. I'm trying to fix it. So I don't know why the legend is acting a little weird. My legend shows fine, but it's basically from left to right for the viewers is Frax BP, 3 pool, Frax 3 CRV, and Frax PP. So for this week, the Frax BP is at 501 million, 3 pools at 388, Frax 3 CRVs at 284, and Frax PP coming in tight at 112. Frax PP is actually down about 3% from last week, but like I said, it's a fairly new pool, and the fact that it has 100 million plus in it already is quite astonishing, to be frank. But yes, that is where the current stable pool liquidity on curve lays. I don't know what else to say except Frax is like squarely on the top. We have like 800 million or so of liquidity on curve across all the big pools. Like that's just amazing.
That's incredible.
That's incredible.
Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but you know what else is incredible? We should go to the next slide and talk about this project that Sam K had founded before Frax Finance, and that's called BrainDAO. And their flagship product is an IQ Wiki, basically is the encyclopedia of crypto. And if you're curious to learn more about any of the guests that we have here on Flywheel DeFi, you could go to one of their pages on IQ Wiki and learn more about them. But I'm here to share something more. I'm here to share something about their staking. And here it's very actually similar to how VECRV is with a Sam, one sec.
You mean VEFXS?
Yeah. Well, or VEFXS, but they
Yeah.
have a lock from 1 week to 4 years. And the voting power, your voting power 4x's if you choose to go for the 4 years, then it linearly decays just like, VFXS and VECRV. Now, on the next slide, we'll see the breakdown of kind of, what it looks like to stake IQ. And here we saw 126% APR, and that is down frankly 1% from last week, but it is still a ridiculous 126%. And there are only 178 HI IQ holders.
High IQ. High
There's
IQ.
only 178 high IQ holders in there. I'm not saying everybody else who's holding IQ and not in here is a low IQ holder, but I'm just saying you want to join the high IQ folks. And I'm happy to report that number increased by 1 since last week. So
Let's go.
definitely one person out there is listening. Now, another thing that I wanted to highlight here is the liquidity. There is 6.6 million of on-chain liquidity in the Frax swap pool. So if you want to get into this, there is definite liquidity on chain for you to tap into. So that is another quick shout out to the Ethereum holders. There's 1,700 of you guys. but only 178 is staking in the high IQ. So get your butt in there and get some of this nice yield. All right, moving on. And the reason why you want to do all this staking is because the treasury is massive at $15.8 million, and you get to control that. But more importantly, what is the treasury holding? The treasury is holding a significant amount, a third in FrxETH solid, and then the other about 27% in their native token, and another 12% in Convex. And they have a protocol owned liquidity of up to 1.3 mil. But on the very last of that, you see that it says Frax lend 1 million Frax.
Is that new?
That is the new addition into the treasury.
That's
We
pretty
love to see it. We love to see treasuries using Frax, and more importantly, all the Frax products, which obviously include Frax lend. So we love to see that 1 million into the Frax lend pair. I just love to see it. So that
We
is
love to
it
see it.
that's it for the IQ treasury. Now we're going to shift to our favorite child for the previous couple months. That is the FrxETH. And here we hit 191,955, which represents a 5.5% increase week over week. We are just on a roll here. I'm
On
loving
a
it.
roll. Loving it.
I'm loving it. Now, but where are all these FrxETH hanging out? We see a nice breakdown here that 64% of them is in the FrxETH, earning that native yield, 26% in the Curve LP, and 11% floating in the Ether. And again, if you want to know where they're floating in the Ether, Sam created this amazing post about where to get your yield on FrxETH. So go to flywheeldefi.com and consume those yields. Please go, 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 go. Now, remember, FrxETH is still what, guys? FrxETH is still a stable coin. So we got to check the peg, which is what we're going to do on the next slide. We have the peg at 0.9993 from the dashboard. Pretty solid number. Then we go on to the curve swap. You got to check it in the market, right? We swap 3,500 FrxETH into ETH. We received an exchange rate of 0.9992. So very tight range between dashboard and actual market rates. And we also see that the TVL is still at 152 million. So very, very healthy size, even through this craziness in the market.
Did you guys see NapGenner's tweet where FrxETH is more liquid than ETH? Like the peg is tighter on curve?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, tell me more.
Yeah, so it was basically a response to Degen Spartan, who is, being coy about, ETH withdrawals. He's doing his like psyops. It's like, trillions about to be unlocked, blah, 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 blah. Like, why would we do that when like we know ETH liquidity is there? But then NapGenner responds like, hey, there's better liquidity, not to mention better yields, but more importantly, better liquidity at the FrxETH ETH pair than it is for the ETH pair. And so it kind of just puts Degen Spartan's little argument out the window.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I love to see it.
That's really an important point we should really hone down. It's like not only do we have the highest APRs at FrxETH, but also the deepest liquidity.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The deepest liquidity for certain size, right? Because for STETH, they can literally take out like a full 100 mil. But if we were to do that here in this pool, it would definitely break everything.
Yeah, but we don't have that. We don't have those size of holders yet, right? Like
that's true. That's also fair. Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we were to normalize for holders, I think we'll definitely be there. But I do have some bad news about our favorite child, though.
What happened?
Let's go to the next slide.
Oh, wait, what's going on?
We're actually unchanged in our market share for the week.
Wow.
So
really?
We've been climbing and climbing and climbing, but we are at 214%, which is pretty flat since last week. Not 214, sorry, 2.14% of market share, which was the same as it was last week. So everybody also had a great week this week. As you can see, Lido, Rocket Pool, all of them are kind of growing at the same rate or higher rate. So ergo, we are pretty much flat for the week, but not to fret. I am not going to leave you there, because on the next slide, you will see who remains the king in the yield department. And that is FrxETH holding it down at 9.2% APY with 351 milli in TVL. Very, very spicy stuff. Then up close, we have Stakewise with 8.8%, and then Anchor at 6.59%, and then with Lido at 6.4 and Rocket Pool at 5.17. So if we compare it to say our closest competitor, Rocket Pool, we are, I want to say, almost 2x, 1.8x of their APR.
It
And
isn't just a
our
few basis points. That's a lot.
no,
That's a lot.
and our fees are half, right? Our fees are 8 versus theirs at 15, I believe. Fact check me, everybody. But that's material. It's material. That's all I gotta say. And then we're gonna go on to our next slide. This is Sam's favorite product, the F to the P to the I.
F
And
to
here
the P to the sorry.
and here we have a pretty much flat week. The supply is still at 82.5 million. The inflation index too is still 5%. And the FPI peg is currently above its required peg by 37 bips. So really healthy. The treasury actually did increase by 200K. So now we're at 89 million in treasury TVL. Yay. And there is about 46% of that in the convex and frax, in the FPI frax convex pool. The equity portion, this is the portion of how much assets there are in the treasury minus the liabilities, aka the FPI outstanding, and whatever remain of that is called the equity. And we're at 4.4 million. We also increased 100K here from last week. So we like to see it. We like to see it. Then following, we have our FraxLend product, which has 217 mil in TVL with 56.8 million borrowed. This represents a 61% utilization rate. And guys, I just want you to look at the graph here. But for the listeners, I'm going to explain that on the collateral front, we're pretty much halfway through recovered from where we were prior to the USDC drop. But on the borrowed value, we have exceeded the level we were during the USDC drop. So what this is telling me here is that people aren't depositing that much collateral per se into the FraxLend pair, but yet they're still borrowing just almost the exact same amount that they were previously. So everybody's is kind of LTV ratio is a little bit in the red. And you'll see that manifest itself a little bit later in the
Oh
call,
God.
a little bit later in the presentation here. But let's quickly talk about some pairs that I want to highlight. So on the next slide, you'll see that we have the loan pairs here, and I want to point out specifically to the CRV Frax pair. Okay, you see the FraxLend. I think this is supposed to be V2, but I think there might be a glitch that says V1 still. But the CRV Frax is still paying out a pretty healthy 5%. Like it was at a point at 9% consistently prior to CRV USD being announced, but after that it dropped down to 5%. And now across the board, you're probably going to get around the 5% number euro to supply into FraxLend right now. Again, not terrible, but you definitely want more than that extra 1% above treasuries yield in order to, LP into anything. The additional smart contract risk, peg risk, blah, 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 blah. So now we're at a very tight spot in FraxLend, in my opinion. Now, moving on, we have our last product, the last leg of the DeFi Trinity called the Frax Swap. And this is the DEX that nobody knows about, but it has 65 million in TVL. That increased by 2.5% over the week. And additionally, it has processed 27 million in volume so far. That represents 41% of its TVL. This DEX is one of frankly, the most efficient DEX I've seen that circles through. It has its TVL turnover ratio is off the charts. So love to see that there.
Solid
And
product.
it really is a solid product. The only thing is Frax doesn't take any revenue from it, right? I feel like this would generate such a great return. But
I'm
on the
not
next
sure if
slide,
do they take fees? They might take a small fee. I don't know.
I don't
Is it
think
in the
so.
docs?
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, I
Oh
don't
yeah.
think so.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But if we LP, we will get some of the fee, obviously.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they do. They have
Yeah.
the AMO. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. So on the next slide, you'll see that we have the top volume of all is FXS Frax. And I'm glad to see this bumping up because it was literally half that just a week ago. And thanks to whether it be a single whale, multiple whales, or whatever had happened that caused so much price action on FXS, the Frax Swap pair thanks you for your service. And thank you for your donation. Now, if you guys notice, IQ Frax is also on here as one of the most traded pairs at almost 500K volume in the last 7 days, with obviously again $6 million, $6.6 million in TVL. So there's definitely a ton of liquidity in there if you guys were to choose to take a look. Now, here we're going to transition to the profitability portion of our FraxCheck, where we're going to start with the AMO, and pretty quiet here. Like I said, calm before the storm. We're
What is
only
the storm?
yeah,
What is a
I
good
don't know,
storm?
bro. I hope it's a good storm, but we're down 30 bips for this month, for this week so far in the AMO. We have 814 million across all the AMOs, and that comprised of 525 million in Curve, 73.6 million in liquidity AMO, 85 million in the lending AMO, and 131.7 in the investor AMO. So things are all quiet all around. That's why I feel like we're just like wound up really tight here, and something's gonna pop. But speaking of popping, I think we may have already popped here. On the next slide, we took a look at the AMO's convex AMO's profitability, and we are actually down 760K so far for May profits. And it's only been, like I said, 2 weeks into the month, and we're down basically $750,000, and it's not great. It's not great. I think this month we're hit with I think 4 bribe payments. So everything's kind of slammed here, but we're obviously only going to get the benefit of two 2-week epochs, obviously, because it's only 4 weeks in a month. So I think we're going to be really expensive convex month this month. But good news though is on the FraxLend side, we are printing quite healthily. Sam, on the next slide, we have our FraxLend AMO. We have 65 million Frax minted, and of that, 59.5 million is being put to use already. Okay, so there's still 5 mil in the wings. There hasn't been any increase so far in the Frax being lent out by the AMO. But for that 59.5 million lent out, we are generating about 15K a week. So far in the month of May, we've generated 30K in revenue. Actually, profit.
Shout out Drake. Shout out Drake.
Shout out Drake. Shout out Drake. And then remember earlier when I said, everybody is, kind of red or like, kind of revving the engine really hot. Well, unfortunately, no one was staying safe this week because we have a lot of liquidation, boys. We have 15. Well, I'm not sure what the total size of the liquidation was, but I do know that we made 15.5K in liquidation fees for just literally, you look at it for the last 7 days.
What was the biggest liquidation?
10K
the biggest liquidation.
CVX. Yeah.
How much? 10K?
Yeah. 10K CVX.
Yeah. Holy shit. How much is that?
About $50,000.
That's painful.
Yeah.
Moment of silence.
It's a 4K liquidation. Yeah. A 4K profit in Frax to us. But yeah, that was expensive. So you can imagine we get 9% in profit margin. So if we receive 15.5K, divide that by 0.09, then you know the actual number that got liquidated. So anyways,
what is that?
Everybody stay safe out there. Stay safe out there is all I can say. We love the revenue, but we don't want to see this. All right, we want everybody to use FraxLend.
0.09. So that's $172,000 of liquidations.
Damn, Dave, you don't have to put these guys on blast. They probably got
sorry. I'm just curious. I'm like, I'm just doing some reporting out there. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. So some folks got clipped, definitely over the
Been
weekend.
there.
So
Been there.
yeah. Oh yeah, definitely been there. So don't feel too bad. But yes, stay safe out there, everybody. Like I said, we like the revenue, but we prefer everybody staying safe. Now, on brighter news, the FPI has been printing. We have 106K in May revenue so far, and it's only been 2 weeks. Okay, it's only been 2 weeks, and we're already at $106,000 in May revenue. Phenomenal, phenomenal. Now, let's group all of these together and see how we're looking. On the next slide, you'll see that we have the summary of our revenues.
Not
For
so bad.
Convex, yeah, not so bad. But like I said, Convex is going to be an expensive bill to pay this month. We're at negative 760K. FraxLend pulling in 30K for us. Liquidation pulling in 15.5K. FrxETH here, again, I'm using a annualized number and then I bring it down to a monthly number just so that we can have something to report here. So I take the number of FrxETH we have, multiply that by 7%, then multiply that by 8%, which is the Frax fee share. And then I take that 8%, multiply it by the current price, then I divide that by 12 to give us the monthly number, which is 164,000 so far for May. And FPI with FPI's 106K, we come down to a net loss of 443K so far for the month of May. Healthy, I would say healthy. If things were to turn out, kind of the rest, we might be able to pull that down to, I would say maybe 250, ideally, to end out the month with. But yeah, I think fairly solid so far. And that is a wrap for this week's, I believe, is FraxCheck number 39, boys. So,
Damn, 39.
Yeah, we're getting up there.
39, we're getting up there.
Sooner or later, it's gonna be 139.
Yeah. FraxCheck's gonna go through a midlife crisis and do a complete rebrand soon.
Yeah.
Mm.
He's gonna buy a Corvette out of nowhere.
I don't even have a car. I don't even have an apartment. I don't even have any. I'm just between two ferns.
Oh, that's too funny. But yeah, boys, that is it. How's everybody else doing?
Better after last week.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's do a Fraximilus check.
I'm hanging in there. I mean, I'm happy. I saw what was going on. I'm like, this is just too fucking ridiculous right now not to buy FXS, not financial advice. So I went in, clipped a little bit below $6, and for now it seems to be paying off. I mean, they're just coming out with so much. I don't understand.
Complex.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess the thing is the liquidity is way thinner on centralized exchanges than it is on FraxSwap, and it's not like they have actual market makers. So if they're dumping on exchanges, it just dumps hard, and the reflexivity and ripples of it are just that much more. But then again, it's just an opportunity to clip more lower, especially with everything that's coming out with FrxETH v2, Frax v3, more Fraxen pairs. There's too much to. We got to have them on again soon. The Frax fellas.
Yeah. We need Napster to come on.
Yeah. The ultimate.
Which one?
The ultimate bull poster.
Yeah.
Napster, you're welcome to come on.
Napster, come on. I asked him. I don't think he's gonna reveal himself. Maybe he can do a written interview. But anyways, if you want to keep up with us to 139 FraxChecks, Kit, where can they find us? How can they keep doing that?
They can find us, obviously, at our new domain, flywheeldefi.com.
That's
and
right.
Always, they can smash that subscribe button and hit that bell button so they stay up to date on our YouTube channel. But more importantly, if they want to come drop in and say hello, they can come to Flywheel DeFi at Flywheel DeFi on Twitter and Telegram, where we have a group chat of all the Fraximilists just shooting the stuff and just loving
We're
Frax.
vibing. We're vibing in there.
We're vibing into the group chat. So please swing on by.
It's fun.
You can, yes, it's definitely fun. And if you want to continue the fun, you can find me at 0xcapital_K.
You can find me at DeFiDave22 on Twitter.com.
You can find me at Traders_Insight.
And we're out. Peace.
Bye.